I'm just going to introduce the project quickly. I do think that a neat interactive demo would be if anybody actually has a like an Ethereum wallet on their phones. And if you don't, you should definitely check one out. Trust Wallet, Cypher, they're really getting pretty good and pretty powerful these days. But you can just head to airswap.io/trade and check out what we've done. And it's basically, it's not an exchange in the sense of what you think of as like a decentralized exchange, because you don't have what you might expect from like an order book kind of experience. What we are is a token trading marketplace, and what that looks like is basically a board of the tokens or assets that people are trading on the network, and it's this kind of free-form peer-to-peer network where the trades are made between two peers, whether it's a person to person or person to program, but the whole idea is that it's truly wallet to wallet, so there's no intermediary when you actually go to make a trade. The tokens or assets that are on the marketplace are there because people have announced that they're trading them, which is pretty cool. So it's totally dynamic, but that means that what you see there indicates that there's a counterparty waiting to take your trade. And so what this does from a user experience perspective is allow you to just pick something you're interested in, either buying or selling, and indicate an amount, get an order, which is crafted for you that has a price that you can take or not take, and then fill that on chain. And so this model actually does very well for both like the highly liquid kinds of assets you might see on popular trading systems, and the lower liquidity stuff too. So tokens that may be traded just a few times a day or something like that, you can have people that just come online and wait for somebody to show up and make a trade with them, which also allows you to make trades of just variable sizes, which is difficult to do on an order book because you'll send the bots kind of through the roof and it goes kind of haywire. So this is excellent for OTC trades as well. I could maybe find a way to pull my phone up and show you how it works. Oh, you have a laptop. No kidding. Thank you for your patience, by the way, and for sticking around. Nice. It's even got a ledger. This is my colleague Maxime. He's an analyst on the team. He's here today on time because he rides a motorcycle, so he can zip between the cars and on the roads. So there's a few other benefits to the system. It is peer-to-peer, and we do support Ledger wallets and MetaMask, of course, and adding new wallets every day. The support for mobile wallets is usually also works out of the box, which is very powerful. So anything that's compliant with a Web3 style connection is pretty easy to just bolt in and go. Trezor was a little bit trickier because the way that they extract keys behaves a little bit differently. So, and I understand that the way that works is actually the original like Bitcoin implementation of it. So some believe, and I guess the Trezor people firmly believe that that's the right way to do things. But we are consistently supporting new wallets every day. If you're familiar with Status, Status is an incredible ecosystem project, and we've had a great relationship with those guys for almost a year now. We've published our white paper a year ago, yesterday actually, and started to explore the relationship between exchange functionality and wallets pretty early on. So the Status guys are super cool, and we got it running I think like today. So on their upcoming mainnet release, which may be sometime in the future that I am not privy to, you'll be able to swap with AIRSWAP out of the box, which will be pretty cool. So with that, that was kind of like a bit of an overview, I guess. Are you guys largely familiar with what we've done? Are there any questions about how it works or how it's different than anything else? Yeah. So the question is about wrapping assets for trade on the. So for example, I think with the 0x settlement contract, they need to be ERC20 compliant. With ours, we actually support on a given trade, you have a maker and a taker for the protocol, and the maker is the one that creates the order and signs it and sends it to the taker, and the taker then signs a transaction and submits it to the network, and so you have this mutual agreement at that point. On our system, the taker that fills the order by executing the function can send, bless you, can send the ether along with the transaction and actually do an ether basically like buy function. So on the platform today, you can walk in with ether, not have to wrap it, and actually perform a trade. But when you do a sale, you receive wrapped ether, which is I think what you were talking about. That's just kind of the way it has to work these days. But it's unwrapping your ether is pretty straightforward. It just happens to be another transaction. So. But yeah, as more assets are wrapped as ERC20 compliant fungible tokens, they just work out of the box here. As more assets come online, more market makers can make them available on the platform just out of the box by announcing what we call their intent to trade. So when you post your intent to trade on our index, there's no pricing information. Hey Sam, it's really just intention. Right? So you're announcing that you're trading tokens X, Y, and Z. Somebody can come in and say, who's trading tokens X, Y, and Z, find you, and then connect peer-to-peer. So the services that we offer are that kind of search functionality. Not necessarily. So the question was whether you post an amount. That could be an important kind of signal and something that we've definitely, yeah, for sure. So the stuff that we have up now is actually it's just like it's without amount. It's basically I'm just trading this, but amount would be an important part of that for sure. I think.
Is there any identity attached to that? Like it's not this person?
No, it's just your Ethereum address. So well, okay. So the index or indexer is kind of like a search engine that we're talking about. And you can post your intent to the indexer. But the intent includes both what you're trading and where you can be found. So basically you can look somebody up on the indexer, grab what they're trading, where they can be found, and then zap them a message directly. Or through the current front end, it actually sends messages through a system that sends it back to some market makers on the other side at the moment. But yeah, the system's meant to be.
Is that identifier anonymous lines tied to identity?
Well, it's just by address, so it's not tied to identity.
I'm just thinking like, oh, someone knows that I own this. How does this sound?
It's just by address. It's not. I think that can and will need to change as more institutional usage comes in and people need to be identified, or there's, well, okay, yes, but by default it's by your address, and if the counterparty has any more information associated with your address, then that's one thing. Sam, I think you should take over. Thanks. So this is, and actually this is really proof of the concept, right? So this just has like logos and buy and sell buttons, but as we're making progress on this thing, the ability to just like buzz through, find the assets you want very quickly and easily, we're really focusing on. But for this release, when you for example click on buy, the checkout kind of flow, we really meant to tighten that up and make sure that it's as quick and easy as possible. So. Yes. Yeah. So these are on this screen because somebody has actually announced that they're trading this. So that means there's a counterparty available right now. So we just add some metadata to make it easier to find stuff. Some of it comes from the projects, so these guys will send us logos and things. But yeah, you know, it just makes it, it's just metadata that ultimately just makes it friendlier and easier to use. You know, we don't want somebody to post like, well, I mean they can, but if somebody posts like a contract address for a token that purports to be something else, we want the default to not be like verified. You know what I mean? There could be like 10 like fakers for a given token. So even just having some metadata there helps us or helps users kind of know what they're interacting with. You know what I mean? So, but we do actually employ a blacklist, and that's just for good measure, basically. So if there's been anything that's been flagged for any reason, like whether it's fraudulent, you know, purporting to be something else, or within, for example, a specific jurisdiction within which they just don't want anything to do with a certain asset, then we will blacklist it there. So you just have to kind of make do that way. But for us, otherwise it's all peer-to-peer. Once you find a peer, you can actually continue to interact with them directly, kind of like bookmark it. So it really kind of works like a search. So you go to Google, you run a search, you find a website, maybe you bookmark the website and just go straight back to it. But as your conditions kind of change and continue to do more searches, you kind of keep going back to Google, don't we? What's up? Sweet. All right. May I introduce you to Sam Walker, front-end extraordinaire.
Hey, everybody. Only have a little bit of time left, so I have to go quickly. I see that Don kind of demoed the current UI that's on the front end and talked a little bit about the protocol. I want to talk about some things that are coming up soon that I'm excited about. The big one is kind of our developer program and developer integrations, both like as an embeddable widget that you can put on your front end to enable trading on your website. And the second is a developer trading API. So this is actually something that I put together today to kind of show you this API working kind of in action. So, you know, the first step in talking about the AIRSWAP system is, you know, authenticating with our router so you can communicate with the indexer. You can see that happening here with the router sending you a challenge with a unique hash, sending back a signed signature, and the router letting us know that we're authenticated, creating an RPC call to find intents for trading ETH for AST. I can currently see that there's 3 intents listed on the indexer. So I query those the makers that correspond to those intents. I get a response from one of them. I take that order, I fill it on our exchange contract. Oops. Come on. I didn't give it a good copy. Yeah, now we have a live transaction. So that's a kind of an example of the kind of automated querying you can do on the AIRSWAP system and building your own automated market makers. So yeah, the two sides of the developer integration are both kind of front-end tools, open sourcing the various pieces that we use to build the AI or the UI at AIRSWAP.io. Plus the embeddable widget, and then kind of our backend trading APIs for building your own market makers. So yeah, any questions? Oh yeah, totally. I didn't know if you'd show that or not. So this is a live integration of the widget currently on AdToken's site, who I believe is actually demoing tomorrow. So you need to use to hold AdToken in order to use their platform. So just clicking the purchase AdToken on their site launches our widget. Full screen MetaMask doesn't look so hot. This allows you to query the indexer, query makers, get an order. And fill it, all without losing the context of the original site. So that's the idea. Yeah, any questions? Sure. Hmm?
How are you getting tokens into your wallet to use this if you want to be a seller? You have tokens on an exchange somewhere. You need to get them into a wallet with AIRSWAP to use, right?
Sure. So typically, on the exchange, like if you're using like Binance, let's say, in the withdrawal section, you can specify an ETH address, and yeah. Oh, well, so far we support. I have a slide on this. Ledger, MetaMask, and Trezor for the front end on desktop. And then Trust, Cypher, and Toshi for mobile. Yeah. Oh yeah, and status soon, and also IAM token soon. Yeah. So out of all of those, I find Ledger to be the most secure and convenient. So.
Who's sort of your target user?
I think that kind of initially, there are people who have been in the Ethereum ecosystem for some time and who are used to working with contracts directly and kind of being deep in the code. And I think we want people like that to find our platform to be convenient, but we also kind of want to target people that have only traded on exchanges, but are kind of comfortable in the cryptocurrency space and kind of want to get into decentralized trading.